In the picturesque town of Willow Creek, nestled away from the hustle and bustle of city life, a dark and terrifying secret lurked beneath its idyllic facade. From the outside, the town seemed like any other: peaceful streets, small-town charm, and a close-knit community. But lurking in the shadows was a killer who had eluded the authorities for years. His victims, all young women, disappeared without a trace, leaving the town paralyzed by fear. By day, Detective James Barlow was the quintessential hero. As an FBI agent with decades of experience, he had earned the respect of his colleagues, his reputation immaculate. He was the town's leading investigator, the man everyone trusted to solve their cases. But as night fell, Detective Barlow transformed into something far more terrifying. He became the town's silent predator, stalking the shadows and engaging in unspeakable acts of violence. His brutality knew no bounds. Young women were his prey, their lives ending in the most gruesome of ways. Barlow's twisted ritual involved abducting his victims, tormenting them in unimaginable ways, and taking a sinister trophy, a part of their body, preserved in a jar for his personal collection. But despite his gruesome crimes, no one suspected Barlow. The case of the missing women had stumped local law enforcement for years, and the FBI's involvement had yielded no results. The killer's identity was a mystery until FBI agent Eli Carter arrived in Willow Creek. Eli Carter was fresh out of the FBI Academy in Quantico. Full of ambition and eager to prove himself, Eli was assigned to the Willow Creek case. This was no ordinary assignment. It was a case of national concern, but also one that could make or break his career. The moment he arrived in town, Eli could feel the tension in the air. The streets were quiet, too quiet. People whispered behind closed doors, avoiding the topic of the disappearances, but no one seemed to know the truth. Barlow, the seasoned veteran, was assigned to work with Eli. He was the local hero, the one the community trusted. Eli was told to observe, to learn from Barlow, and assist with the investigation. But Eli's instincts told him something wasn't right. The more he observed Barlow, the more he began to question the detective's involvement in the case. Barlow had an air of detachment when he spoke about the victims, his eyes always cold and calculating. His actions, while seeming professional, felt rehearsed. As Eli dove deeper into the case, he uncovered chilling details. There were inconsistencies in Barlow's alibis. Barlow had always been the first to arrive at the crime scenes and the last to leave. His demeanor was always composed, but there was something unsettling about the way he lingered, inspecting every detail of the grisly scenes. Eli couldn't shake the feeling that the detective was hiding something. Eli began to piece together a disturbing pattern. The disappearances were not random. They followed a methodical sequence. The same types of victims, the same circumstances surrounding their abductions, and eerily, the same locations. But it wasn't until Eli gained access to the case files that he discovered something that would change everything. Barlow had been involved in every investigation from the beginning. Barlow's involvement was not just passive. He had been the one to handle the crime scenes, the one to gather evidence, and the one who seemed to always know exactly where the bodies would be found. It was almost as if he had insider knowledge of the killer's actions, but Eli couldn't make sense of it. Could Barlow be the killer? It was unthinkable. Desperate for answers, Eli began his own covert investigation. He went through old case files, revisited crime scenes, and began to retrace Barlow's movements. It was during this time that he uncovered the chilling truth. The missing women had all been abducted at night, and their bodies were disposed of in remote locations. But there was one thing they all had in common: the brutal mutilation of their bodies and the chilling absence of any real evidence to suggest a struggle. This was no random killing spree. It was the work of someone with an intimate knowledge of law enforcement procedures. Eli's heart raced as he stumbled upon a collection of disturbing photographs hidden in a locked drawer in Barlow's office. The images were of the victims, but these were no ordinary photographs. They were taken after the women had been abducted, each one showing the mutilation of their bodies in grotesque detail. Some of the photos were taken in Barlow's own home, and Eli could see faint traces of bloodstains in the background. Eli's stomach churned. He had finally found the link. Barlow wasn't just investigating the murders, he was orchestrating them. The horrifying truth sank in. Barlow had been leading a double life. By day, he was a law-abiding FBI agent, and by night, he was a sadistic serial killer. His victims were carefully chosen, and each one represented another twisted trophy for his sickening collection. The most chilling discovery, however, came when Eli found a journal hidden beneath a false floorboard in Barlow's office. The journal detailed the detective's violent fantasies and his obsession with the women he abducted. Each entry spoke of a ritual, the rape, the torture, and the consumption of his victims. But most disturbing of all was the final part of each entry, a description of the part of their body that Barlow would keep as a souvenir. The journal ended with one final chilling statement: "It's all part of the plan. No one will ever know." Now, Eli knew what he had to do, but time was running out. The next victim was already chosen, and Barlow's next kill was imminent. Eli had no choice but to confront the detective alone. The FBI agents in Willow Creek had no idea of the dark truth, and Eli couldn't risk anyone alerting Barlow. He had to stop him before it was too late. Eli followed Barlow to an old, abandoned house on the outskirts of town. The night was eerily quiet, the air thick with tension. Inside, Eli discovered a hidden room, its walls lined with jars containing pieces of human flesh. Each jar held a gruesome souvenir from the women Barlow had slaughtered. The stench of death hung heavy in the air as Eli finally confronted Barlow. Barlow, with his cold eyes, looked at Eli as if he had been expecting him. "You're too late, Eli," he sneered, his voice low and mocking. "This town was always mine. You were just too naive to see it." What followed was a brutal fight. Eli, fueled by the need to stop Barlow's reign of terror, fought with everything he had. But Barlow was strong, ruthless, and savage. In a desperate move, Eli reached for the knife that Barlow had dropped during their struggle. With a swift motion, Eli drove it into Barlow's chest, ending the monster's life once and for all. The police and FBI arrived to find Barlow's body, along with the horrifying evidence of his crimes. The town of Willow Creek, forever scarred by the dark deeds of its former hero, would never be the same. But thanks to Eli's relentless pursuit of the truth, the killer was brought to justice. In the end, Eli's actions didn't just save the town. They uncovered a terrifying reality. Sometimes, the monsters we fear the most are the ones closest to us. The investigation into the Willow Creek serial killer case is one that will haunt Eli Carter for the rest of his life. The brutality, the deception, and the chilling way Barlow operated as both an FBI agent and a sadistic killer show just how far someone can go to hide their darkness. While the town may have found some closure, the memories of the victims and the terrifying realization that evil can be hiding in plain sight will never leave Willow Creek. For more crime stories, please subscribe, like, and share this channel.